All right, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Push myself back. So good morning. It's just us virtually today, the studio. And I was glad for that because I was having a morning where it was just everything kind of started a little too late, like the time that the kids woke up and the time that Eva took her morning nap before I leave. And so everything got pushed back and I was rushing to get here. I was running a little later than I like to. And just noticing kind of what that did to my overall nervous system. And I noticed this, I'm learning more about this thanks to my children, especially Ani, who's 4.5, and gets very easily dysregulated. And that's not something I've ever really paid attention to in myself in that terminology. Like I've definitely paid attention to feeling anxious or stressed. I would use words like that to describe my state of being, but I never really paid attention to, well, what does it mean when my nervous system is regulated, right? When I'm calm, when my nervous system is working as it should and responding in a way that makes sense situationally. And what does it look like when I become dysregulated? When I all of a sudden am in a state of being where my nervous system is off kilter. And then because of that, anything that happens, right, I don't necessarily have this normal regulated response to. It's kind of like when you're a day late today, even when you're running late, when one thing happens, and then another thing happens, and then another thing happens, and it kind of starts to compound, right? Because you get a little dysregulated, and then a little more, and then a little more, and before you know it, it's like one more thing is going to make you, cry, or explode, or feel like you just can't do it anymore. And so recognizing these patterns within ourselves and noticing when we get dysregulated, and then cultivating tools that we can utilize to help ourselves regulate. And of course, these tools are all things that we practice and learn here on the mat. So let's take a nice comfortable seat. You can sit up on any props that you might have at home. Move the flesh away from your sitting bones. Close your eyes. Sit up nice and tall. And the very first step in noticing dysregulation or checking in with yourself or becoming present is to witness, to shine a light on what is in the present moment. So what do you find when you turn your attention inwards? And when you begin to evaluate or notice your current state of being, what do you find physically? How's the physical body feeling? Did you wake up with a stiff neck, or did you tweak your low back? Was there a lot of tension and tightness in your shoulders and your upper back? See if you could do a little body scan. Maybe there's some irritation in the sinuses or in your lungs from poor air quality, allergies. Maybe you're feeling really good. And the goal here is simply to witness this without there being a story or a charge, a thought process of whether this is positive or negative, good or bad. And then here, maybe you could do the same thing with kind of how your body feels in this more internal way. How are your nerves? Are you feeling a little frazzled or very calm and grounded? Is the energy inside the body kind of up in the second half of the body, up in the head? That's typically where more anxious energy resides. Or is there a lot of energy low in the body, in the lower half? This can typically be where more heavy, depressive energy feels and resides in the physical self. And then please notice your breath. Without changing anything in your breath, see if you're breathing more up into your chest. If the breath feels more shallow and short. And then consciously begin to deepen the breath and see if you could draw it down deeper below your diaphragm. So as you inhale, the breath goes all the way through the lungs, filling the lungs, and you feel the belly rise as well. And then as you exhale, the breath empties and pours back out. You could even bring your hands to your belly. When the nervous system is activated, when we go into a stress responsive state and the sympathetic nervous system is turned on, we automatically begin a different breath pattern. That's more shallow, that stays up in the chest. And simply by alternating our breath pattern, and consciously changing the way that we breathe, we can regulate the nervous system. We can turn on the parasympathetic nervous system and send a message to the brain that we're safe, that there's no reason to be in this fight, flight, freeze state. And we can begin to invite in more feelings of calm and grounded stability. Now see if maybe you could lean back just slightly. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. And reach the crown of your head up towards the sky. Notice your tongue in your mouth and see if you could let your tongue get heavy and wide on the lower palate. Make a little space between your lower jaw and your upper jaw. Smooth out your forehead. Widen your eyebrows, corners of your eyes, and let your eyeballs descend back into their sockets. And now once again, take notice of your physical body and see if there's any changes to how the body feels. Notice your nervous system, whether you feel a little more regulated, a little more calm. And please bring your hands together in front of your heart, palms pressed in prayer. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. Maybe it's just to notice these patterns. Notice what it looks like for you when you become dysregulated. It's different for each one of us. What are the warning signs that start to happen within the body and mind that let you know, okay, I need to take a minute, I need to take a step back. What can I do to help smooth out the energy within the body? Perhaps it's an intention to actually do that, to take the time, to pause, take some deep breaths. Now let's seal in our intentions and begin our class with 3 cleansing breaths together. Take a deep breath in. And let it go to the side. 2 more like that. And gently bow your head to your heart. Slowly open your eyes, release your hands, and come to lay down on your back. We'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So as you recline, take the soles of your feet together, your knees wide. You can place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Let your shoulders drop back and down. Maybe you kind of wiggle the shoulder blades onto your back a little more. You can keep your hands on your body, or you could bring your arms down by your sides with your palms face up, whatever feels best for you. If this is too intense on your hips, you could take some blocks and place them behind your thighs. Once again, check in this time to see if there's any particular patterns of tightness or tension, and where you feel them manifesting in your physical self, in the body. And if you could soften or unclench, relax, or let go. On your next inhale, bring your knees back up to center. So knees are bent, feet are on the ground, feet are parallel, sitting bone are distance apart. And here we'll just do a little flow with our arms. So as you inhale, float both of your arms overhead. So that when your arms come down on the ground, your palms are face up, and as you exhale, float the arms all the way back down until they come by your sides, palms face down on the earth. Inhale, arms overhead, reach. Exhale, float the arms back down. Move with your breath here. And see if you could kind of slow down your movements. Maybe creating a little traction with your arms so that you could visualize this or imagine it as if the air were like a gel, and that you're moving your arms slowly through it and kind of pressing your arms through. So a little more control, a little slower, still moving with your breath. Trying to move both arms at the same time. Noticing if there's any issues with the shoulders, if there's any difference side to side. And the next time you inhale your arms up, pause here. Take a few breaths, lengthen your side bodies even a little longer. Take a full inhale, and as you exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. You can keep your other knee bent for this one for a few rounds. Then go ahead and release that. Right foot comes back down to the mat, arms reach overhead, breath in. As you exhale, hug your left knee into your chest. Few breaths here like that. Inhale, arms back overhead. And here we're going to move through a flow. So it'll be the same thing. You'll take a breath in, and as you exhale, you'll hug your right knee into your chest, and you'll slide your left leg to straight. Then you'll inhale and bring everything back so that the knees are bent and feet are on the ground. And then exhale, hug your left knee in as you lengthen your right leg out to straight. Inhale, arms overhead, both feet come back to the ground, knees bent. You'll just move like this, side to side. Few more each side. Let's do one more each side. And then go ahead and hug both knees into your chest. You could give yourself a little massage here on your low back, your sacrum, taking the knees in circles in one direction and then the other. And then you'll come back to center and bring your feet back down to the ground, knees bent, feet parallel. And extend your arms out to a T with your palms face up. So you'll need some space here. Sometimes we do this with arms in goal pose or cactus, but today we're just having the arms straight out and then with the shoulders, palms face up. If that's really not available in your space, you could do it the other way, but see if you could set yourself up this way. And then you'll take your feet a little wider than your hips. And we'll move through a windshield wiper flow. So you'll take inhale, you'll exhale, knees come down to the right. Inhale up through center, exhale, knees to the left. Just move in this rhythm, keeping both shoulder blades connected to the ground, to your mat, if possible. So not only does yoga make us feel better because it stretches out our body, and a little flow like this is really good for the entire back, which many of us have issues with. But also we begin to kind of open up these energetic pathways and channels through the body that get stuck. We begin to open up our fascia system and allow things to flow more freely so that things like regulating the nervous system become a little bit easy for our body to find homeostasis again. We start linking our movement to our breath. And that tells our brains that we can be in a state of calm, where we could rest and digest. So now here, if you'd like, you could take your head into the flow and turn your neck to the opposite side of your knees, so that as your knees come up and over to the left, you look over your right shoulder. They come up and over to the right, you look over your left shoulder. And then you'll come back up to center. This time, with your arms out in line with your shoulders, turn your palms to face down. So your thumbs will come up towards the ceiling and then point down towards your feet. Palms are on the ground. And we'll do the same flow here. You'll inhale, drop your knees over to the right as you exhale. Windshield wiper the legs side to side. Notice how this is different with the internal rotation of your shoulders. And if you feel the stretch somewhere else in your body, maybe you feel it more in your hips. Maybe you feel it a little more opening in the upper back. And then again, you can bring your head and neck into the flow and look over the opposite shoulder from where your knees are pointing. Few more rounds, side to side. Bring your knees back up to center. Once again, hug your knees into your chest. Keep your right knee drawn in and extend your left leg long on the ground. Activate both feet, so both feet flex. Take your right knee into your left hand, right arm comes out to the side. This time it can be in that cactus or goalpost. Breathe in, and as you exhale, take your knee all the way across your body. As you twist to the left, gaze out over your right shoulder for a knee down twist. Inhale, come back up to center. Hug both knees into your chest again. Keep your left knee hugged in, extend your right leg long on the ground. Take your left knee in your right hand, left arm comes out to the side. Take a breath in. As you exhale, guide your knee across your body all the way over to the right. Gaze out over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center, hug both knees in one more time. And then go ahead and roll to your right and make your way all the way back up to sit. Take a moment here in a comfortable cross-legged position. Close your eyes and check back in with yourself, your body, noticing the levelness of the nervous system, Whether it feels smooth and even now, or whether there's still some rockiness. And then you'll slowly make your way to all fours, coming to a tabletop position. And move through cat cow. When your knees under your hips are slightly behind, wrists under your shoulders. As you inhale, arch your spine, tuck your gaze up. As you exhale, round through your back. Tailbone lengthens, pull your ribs back, bring your chin into your chest. Flow with your breath. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. From here, walk your hands slightly forward of your shoulders and take your hands a little wider, maybe they're off of your mat. And then we'll make some big hip circles here. This is called marauding bear. So you'll take your hips back and to the right, and swing them over to the left and up towards your left wrist, over towards your right, just a really big hip circle. The next time you come back through center, pause and switch directions. Come back through center, walk your hand back in so that you're back in tabletop. Then melt your heart, so draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Move your shoulders away from your ears. And drop your chin in towards your chest. So let the head hang. You could kind of shake the head side to side a little. Make a little space between your lower jaw and your upper jaw. And then you'll roll your left ear over towards your left shoulder. Roll your right ear over towards your right shoulder. So it's this little half neck circle. But you're really letting the head hang. Moving really slow if you need to, especially if you're like me and your neck's really, really tight. Be more like this. You can move your head any way that feels really good. This is a really safe way to stretch the neck, to protect the cervical spine, because gravity is pulling your head down. You can't throw your head back so easily. Tweak the cervical spine. Good, and then when you're all finished with that, you can come into child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, set your hips back towards your heels, stretch your arms out in front of you. Breathe. Inhale, walk your hands in just enough so that you can thread your right arm under your left, coming into a twisted child's pose. Inhale to unwind. And then you'll switch sides. Spread the left arm under the right, coming down onto your left shoulder, left ear to the ground. Inhale to unwind. Take another couple of breaths in child's pose with arms outstretched. And then make your way into downward facing dog. You can pedal out through your legs here, stretching out the back of the legs, the hamstrings. You could take some deep, steady, regulated breaths here in down dog. Inhale, your right leg lifts. Exhale, lunge your right foot forward, up in between your hands. Coming into a high lunge here. Lengthen out through the spine. Press your left thigh high to the sky. Draw your legs in towards each other. Then keep your left hand down. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Exhale, release. Then pivot your back heel down. Come into extended side angle, right arm on your thigh, right forearm on your thigh, left arm out in line with your ear. Exhale, release. Cartwheel your arms down to frame your front foot. Pivot your back heel up so you're back in your high lunge. This time you're going to step your back foot forward, but it's going to come behind your right foot. So your legs are crossed. So you'll step that back foot forward. And then it comes behind and over to the right side. So you've got these crossed legs here. And this is where you might need some block, especially if you have some tight hamstrings. Big stretch here. And you'll bring your left foot over to meet your right, feet parallel.
in a regular Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Press down into your feet, inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Press into your feet, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. You can stay here or move through a vinyasa. If you're moving through a vinyasa, you'll inhale, come forward to a high plank. Exhale to lower all the way to your belly. Inhale up into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts as you inhale. Lunge it forward as you exhale. Start in your high lunge here up on your fingertips, framing your front foot. Left knee is over your left ankle. Press your right thigh up to the sky, hug your legs in towards each other. Reach out through the crown of your head. Keep your right hand down. Inhale, reach your left arm up as you twist. Exhale, release your left hand down. Pivot your back heel to the ground. Bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Right arm comes out in line with your ear. Extended side angle. First Uttanasana. Exhale, release. Bring your hands to frame your front foot. Pivot your back heel up. And this time you're going to step your right foot forward. It's going to come behind your left foot and over to the left side. And then you'll be in a cross-legged forward. Maybe use some blocks here. Go ahead and bring your right foot back around, bring it parallel to your left foot, standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, swan dive forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Move through another vinyasa that calls to you. And then we'll come to sit. Here we'll sit in mermaid. So you could bring your right foot forward, right shin forward. Your left foot comes back by your left hip. And here you'd like ideally you want your sitting bones to both be on the ground here. And if they're not, you'll put the edge of a blanket over the one that's not lifting. So it's a little counterintuitive. So if your left sitting bone is lifting up here off the ground, you'll take a little blanket and prop it under your right, and that should help both of them level up. Once you're here, just close your eyes. And then you'll twist to your right. Bring both hands over towards your right side. And see if you could walk your hands forward and maybe come onto your forearms. And here, your one sitting bone will lift up, and that's okay. If coming down to the ground isn't available, you can take blocks under your forearms. You could even let your head hang here. And keep melting the heart. Inhale, walk your hands in. Take a little counter twist in the other direction. So your left hand is behind you, right hand to your left knee. Inhale back to center. Bring your right hand down behind you. And then you'll inhale, sweep your left arm up and lift your hips. Exhale, release. Go ahead and switch sides. This time left shin is out in front, right foot back by your hip. You can pause here, close your eyes, settle into your hips. And then you'll walk your hands over to the left, coming down onto the forearms. Melt the back of the heart, draw the shoulder blades out to the back, you can let your head hang. Inhale, walk your hands up. Take a little counter twist to the other side. So left hand comes to your right knee. Inhale back to center, bring your left hand behind you, sweep your right arm up, lift your hips. Stretch. Exhale, release. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees wide. Baddha Konasana and butterfly, means to flush away from your sitting bones. Inhale, lengthen your spine, sit up nice and tall, and exhale as you fold about over your back. Inhale to rise, bring your hands to the backs of your thighs, grab your knees up, and then you're gonna come to kneel. You may want blocks here. This is called a toe stretch. And depending on what's going on in your feet, you may need to stop at various places in this pose. So on your knees, if you need to pad your knees with a blanket, please do. You'll tuck your toes under, and then you can bring your hands up onto blocks or not. And then you'll start to walk the blocks back and see if you can sit back on your feet. And when you do, you want to spread the toes out so that all of the toes are getting some action. You're getting that pinky toe, bringing that forward and tucked under as well. And then see, it may be a lot. Like this may not be available to you. If you just need to stay here, with the toes tucked, that's fine. And if at any point you start to cramp or you need a break, you can take a break. This is a great pose to open up all of the 5 major meridians in the body. It can really be a lot. We don't always stretch our feet like this. So maybe you take some deeper yawn breaths, some cleansing breaths in through your nose, out through the mouth. Just a few more breaths here. And then come out and walk your hands forward. Point your toes. You could sit back on your feet this way. You can shift your weight to one side and take your legs wide. This may be another pose where you want to use blocks, where you have the blocks out in front of you for your forearms. Take an inhale here and lengthen your spine. Toes point up towards the sky, kneecaps point up to the sky. You can move the flesh in the sitting bones. Nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, start to hinge from your hips as you pull forward. Here you could let your head hang, let your back round if that feels okay on your body. And if you don't like that Morgan variation, then you just keep yourself upright. Keep your back long, shoulder blades on your back. Neck in line with the spine. Inhale, start to walk your hands back in. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs to help guide your legs in. Come back to a comfortable cross-legged seat for a short meditation. You can sit up on your cross here, make yourself comfortable. We'll move right from here into Shavasana. So once you arrive in a comfortable seat, you can close your eyes. And check back in with your body. Notice if you still have the same aches or discomforts as the beginning of class, same areas of tension. If they've lessened, or if anything new has popped up. Notice your breath. Maybe it flows more freely to your low belly now. Perhaps it's not residing so much in your chest. Notice how you feel internally. Notice if you feel more regulated. Your nervous system feels more at ease. Or if there's a sense of inner peace. Once again, notice your tongue in your mouth and let it get heavy and wide on your lower palate. Make a little space between your lower jaw and your upper jaw. Smooth out your forehead. Widen your eyebrows. And let your eyeballs descend back into their sockets. You can stay here in meditation, or you could make your way onto your back Shavasana. Very slowly begin to deepen your breath. Drawing awareness back into your body as you wiggle your fingers and your toes. And begin to move and stretch in any way that feels good for you. And then draw your knees into your chest, gently roll to your side. Make your way back up to find a comfortable seat if you're not there already. Once you arrive, close your eyes and bring your hands together in front of your heart once more. Calling back your original intention that you set at the beginning of class. And feel free to modify or change your intention in any way that suits you to carry with you through the rest of your day or week. And then we'll end our class and seal in our intentions with a final cleansing breath. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in each one of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice today. Hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend. And next week, there's actually not class because I have a Reiki training. It starts at 11, but then I'll be back the following week. So thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Erin. Bye-bye.
Thank
Have a good
you.
Thanks, Erin.
Thanks, Debbie.
Stretching was great.
Oh, good. I know we needed that today.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Of course.
You too.